Hi everyone, and welcome to our live session on why your job search isn't working and what you can do about it. Let's start by clarifying what a modern, effective job search looks like. And it's not about sending out hundreds of applications and hoping for the best. It's about being strategic and using all four job search channels, which are networking, job ads, direct contact with decision makers, and headhunters. And each channel plays a distinct role. Used together, combined together, they form a complete and proactive job search strategy. Let's take a look at the efficiency of job hunting channels. And by efficiency, we mean how many accepted job offers came through each channel based on actual client data. So, senior international executives that we've been tracking since 2012. Let's start with the direct approach, which stands for proactive reach out to decision makers. As you can see, it used to be the most effective method for many years, especially in 2018, where it peaked at nearly 60%. But you'll notice a steady decline down to 26% in 2024. Next, we have networking, including both personal and professional contacts. As you can see, it has been fairly stable, but also dropped over time, currently standing at 19%. Then we have headhunters, so proactive reach out to recruitment consultants at recruitment companies. This low figure of 16% highlights that while these firms, these personas can still provide valuable opportunities, they are slower and more strategic in nature, requiring a longer term approach. And finally, job ads, while they were almost irrelevant, and remember for the senior managers, they were almost irrelevant before 2019. They've been steadily rising. In fact, last year, 39% of our clients accepted offers, came through job ads, making them the most efficient channel. And now, to give you an even more stable picture, here's how those four job search channels have performed over the past 3 years on average. So we have a direct approach at 28%, networking at 19%, headhunters at nearly 16%, and job ads at nearly 37%. The key takeaway: no single channel is enough on its own. A balanced multi channel strategy gives you the highest chances of success. Okay, let's now move into the three biggest reasons why searches fail, either for qualified experienced candidates. First of all, they use the wrong channels or rely too heavily on just one, usually job ads. Then they are underprepared and misinformed, meaning that they start and end with the CV instead of building a strategy. And lastly, they don't track any KPIs or track the wrong ones, which makes it hard to improve. Let's now take a closer look at the first and the most common mistake, so using the wrong channels. Many candidates, as I already mentioned, rely almost exclusively on job ads because this is the more traditional way of looking for a job. And while job ads have become more effective in recent years, they still account only for 37% of hires, as you remember from the few slides earlier. That means, in other words, that over 60% of job opportunities are missed when people ignore the other free channels. So, by not using direct outreach, by not leveraging your network, or by assuming that headhunters will find you, you're leaving your opportunities on the table and slowing your own progress, because this leads to fewer responses, fewer opportunities, and of course, fewer interviews. The second problem is lack of preparation. And this one is actually more serious than most people think. So a job search doesn't start with a CV. It starts with clarity, and you need to define a realistic, precise job goal that we call a path of least resistance, a strong and evidence-based unique selling proposition, USP, showing why are you the best candidate, two well-crafted CVs and an optimized LinkedIn profile for both humans and algorithms, and a plan for using all four job search channels strategically. And skipping the steps or doing them poorly is like starting a journey without knowing where you are going. And it's also important to recognize that the job market has definitely changed. It's no longer enough to just look good on paper. Recruiters are more demanding, ATS systems are more sophisticated, budgets are tighter, and the competition is stronger than ever. Being prepared is not an option anymore, it's the baseline. Let's now move to the numbers, KPIs. The first one we track for our clients is the response rate. So, how many people reply after you contact them effectively, and that means both the initial message and the follow up. A healthy response rate based on our clients is between 30 and 50%. If your rate is below that, it likely means that you are not targeting the right people or your message isn't clear or compelling. The next important KPI is the interview rate. So, how many people invite you for a conversation after you've sent your CV? And what is considered good? Something between 5 and 10%. And if you're applying regularly but getting no responses or interviews, the problem isn't your experience, it's your process. And what do most candidates actually get? The response rates below 10% and interview rates around 1 to 3%. And again, this doesn't mean they are not good enough. It simply means their process is wrong. And let's be clear, the success metrics haven't changed much over the years. But what has changed is the input required to get those results. To maintain the same outcomes as before, job seekers today need to contact more headhunters, which is 30-50 minimum, apply to more job ads, approach more companies directly. 60-90 is a minimum, but the truth is the more the better, and do more networking from occasional to regular and strategic. In short, more effort is needed to stay competitive. If you are wondering how efficient your job search process really is, we've got you covered. We've published a blog post with a real life benchmarks and a short test that helps you assess your efficiency. You will find the link to the tool in the comment section, and I can see that it has already been posted. Okay, so now that you've seen the problems and the data behind them, let's talk about what you can do to fix it. To show you what's possible, I'll walk you through a real client case study that highlights what happens when someone switches from a random to a strategic job search. Let me introduce you to one of our clients, an experienced IT director from Poland who wanted to relocate to Switzerland. And Switzerland is a tough job market with high competition and culture and language barriers. Our client had strong qualifications but wasn't getting any results. Let's look at why. They started their job search in 2024 and they applied to job ads only. They actually sent 261 CVs. The CV was generic and it did not contain any achievements and business results. It was not tailored for ATS and it lacked relevant keywords from the job ad, so it wasn't optimized per every job ad. They didn't define a clear job goal, didn't use direct contact, headhunters, and networking. And of course, they didn't follow up. So, in short, no structure, no plan. And now let's talk numbers. Out of those 261 CVs, about 75% of them were submitted via ATS. So our client upload their CV on the server somewhere, yeah, which makes 196 CVs. And according to topresume.com, we can assume that from those 196 CVs, about 70% of them were filtered out automatically by the system. And this leaves us with only 49 CVs, that were seen by the recruiter. But this is the optimistic version, because according to AI Apply, only 2% of applications are seen by human recruiters, which makes 5.2 CVs. Scary, huh? Then, out of those 261 CVs, sorry, I forgot to mention it earlier, 25% of them were sent directly to email addresses. So our client saw a job ad, and in the job ad, the employer, the job poster, provided their email address. And our client submitted their CV via email. So it makes 65 CVs. And if we assume the response rate of 50%, this is the optimistic version, of course, it leaves us with 32 CVs seen by the recruiter. When we combine that with the previous number, so 39 plus 32, it leaves us with 81 CVs seen by a human. Again, this is the optimistic version, because if we remember, the AI Apply says it's even less, 2%, so 5.2. So in summary, out of those 261 CVs, only 5.2 to maximum 81 CVs were actually reviewed by a human, and that's based on statistics. This is disturbing, definitely. Let's now have a look at our client's interview rate. They generated 7 interviews. Most of them were informal or introductory, so no real opportunities, no job offers on the table. So the interview rate was about 3%. Well, that's below the 5 to 10% benchmark we aim for. And then they started working with Career Angels. We helped them clarify job goal using our strategic framework. We optimized their CV with ATS in mind, using tools like JobScan that code to identify missing keywords from the job ad. We prepared them for interviews. We activated the professional network, direct contact, and headhunters, and we followed a structured KPI-driven job search strategy. And within the 6 months, our client actually landed a new job in Switzerland with better position and salary. And of course, more flexibility. Their skills and experience stayed the same. Yeah, they didn't change. Their strategy did. So what you can learn from top performing candidates, they don't rely on luck or a fancy CV. They define a realistic job goal. They build a strong evidence-based USP. They prepare 2 versions of their CV and a LinkedIn profile that speaks to both human and algorithms. And they use all 4 job search channels simultaneously. Thank you very much for joining today. Bye-bye.